of the season we are tonight, as the Grizzlies come in with a 4-1 record, while the South Titans come in having won one game and lost 4 on the season. Northwest coming off of just a pounding of Topeka last week at Grizzly Stadium. 81-13 was the final score in that one, and some history was made last week in that contest at Grizzly Stadium. In case you haven't heard, Northwest held Topeka to a record, get this, record low, minus 125 yards of rushing. Just an incredible, almost unfathomable stat. Now, it starts to make a little bit more sense when you consider that Topeka had a couple of issues with their punt game. One punt went way over the punter's head. He just picked the ball up and ran it out of the back of the end zone. And so those yardage counted as their minus rushing yards on the night, part of them. And then another time, Topeka intentionally took a safety by running out of the back of the end zone. That also would count towards the negative 125 yards rushing, but and sacks, of course, as well, but still almost unfathomable to imagine negative 125 yards rushing, and that's what happened last week in Northwest's blowout win over Topeka. On the other side of the ball, the Grizzlies just continue to be one of the most high-powered offenses in the nation as Northwest just continues to pound and pound the end zone. They're averaging 52 points per game last week. Obviously, their 81-point performance last week raised that up a few notches as this Grizzly offense just continues to roll. It's a South team again that I mentioned is 1-4 on the season. Their only win of the year came against North, 41-15. That game a couple of weeks ago. They're coming off of a 54-6 loss to Heights. They started off the season playing two of the same teams that Northwest played. They opened with Capon, lost that game 51-0. The following week they lost to Bishop Carroll 50-14. It is a young South team under the direction of their coach, Russ Wells. I had a chance to visit with him yesterday, and he was talking about the culture here is starting to change, though, that before this team might get punched in the mouth early and they would immediately be let down and it would be hard for them to recover. They're doing a better job, though, of being more resilient, hanging around mentally in games, and hopefully eventually that will translate into hanging around on the scoreboard later in games. But that is something they've had trouble doing. We'll see what happens tonight. They will certainly have their hands full. This is our Toppers Plus pregame show. Toppers Plus with their new location at 333 Northwest Street. Stop by and see Blake and the staff at Toppers Plus. Toppers Plus Truck Accessories. Make your truck work for you. Well, let's welcome in my broadcast partner, Kevin Arkin, who joins me here tonight. And Kevin, it kind of blew us away once we started putting in perspective that record, that state record of negative 125 yards of rushing that Northwest was able to put up against Topeka. And again, just hard to imagine something like that happening. But the Grizzlies, we saw it before our own two eyes. Each of us made that happen last week.
Well, and I was kind of surprised when I learned that stat as well. We didn't learn it until later in the week. And Topeka, it seemed like to us, threw on almost every down. So when they all of a sudden we come up with 100 yards plus negative yards rushing in a game where Topeka was throwing it time after time after time, and granted sacks are in there and all the other stuff that happens, we just never thought of it. It didn't occur to us during the broadcast that we were amassing this kind of a record, and all of a sudden someone ran the numbers, and boom, there it is. Statewide record, that is, and it surpassed the previous record, which was 105 negative yards rushing, and I forgot now who it was that accomplished that a gazillion years ago. But we've got that record pretty much entrenched, I think.
And don't mention to Mark Marinelli about all the lost yardage on punts, because he probably wants you to know that, hey, a record is a record no matter how we got there. He, of course, the defensive coordinator for this Northwest team. And it's good to see, though, the Grizzlies getting some some statewide attention, maybe national, I don't know, but statewide attention for things their defense is doing, because I don't think over the years they've gotten enough credit for the job that they've done with all of the great offensive weapons this program has produced here lately. Their defense hadn't been too bad either.
And if you throw out the Bishop Carroll game, which the coaches have already done long ago, this defense has throttled every opponent totally.
Yeah, you go back to week 2 against Heights. They gave up 6 points, 14 to Capon, 14 to East, 13 to Topeka, and we'll see what happens here tonight. So you're exactly right. That 53 against Carroll, a bit of an anomaly, and I don't think Carroll, take nothing away from them, if these two teams met up again, would be scoring 53 points against this Grizzly defense.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And you look at you look at the game coming up here tonight and what South has done so far this year and what we've done so far this year, and you think, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk. And I think what Northwest needs to do tonight is play their game as if they're playing the best team in the state and then take it from there.
Just 2 regular season games left on the docket for the Grizzlies after tonight. And next week, Kevin, will be a very interesting one because the Grizzlies will take on West. And it's not just interesting because of that, another City League game, but we're going to be downtown at Riverfront Stadium, home of the Wichita Wind Surge, who is hosting football this evening. In fact, they're hosting the Holy War between Bishop Carroll and Capon. We'll try to keep you abreast of the score of that contest, but that's where we will be next week in terms of what happens on the field. I think everybody is expecting much of the same from the Grizzlies scoreboard-wise in that contest. It'll be fun to be at that ballpark. But the last game of the regular season, very intriguing, 2 weeks from tonight, will be in Manhattan.
And Manhattan is going to be a big game for us because not only is it the last game of the season, it's important for playoff seeding. If we can run the table, we should have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which has been big for us in the past. 2 years ago, when we had home field advantage throughout, we ended up in Pittsburgh. The year before that, we had home field advantage throughout the playoffs, ended up in Pittsburgh. So, again, this year, granted it's 6A instead of 5A, but let's run the table and get home field advantage and then take it from there.
Let's thank some of our sponsors who have helped bring you Grizzly football all season long and will continue to. Of course, our presenting sponsor of Northwest football is Mel Hambleton Ford, so involved in our youth in the community, and our thanks to Lisa Hambleton and the folks at Mel Hambleton Ford for bringing you Grizzly football. Taco Prano on 21st Street between Ridge and Tyler. Between Mays and Tyler. Taco Prano, locally owned and family owned for over 50 years. Taco Prano, Joe Thrush, also a big supporter of high school sports in the area. At halftime, we will have our United States Navy halftime show. After the game, we'll have our Christopher Daniels Watch and Jewelry Repair Gem of the Game. And our Player of the Game brought to you by Seneca Bowl right up the road at 1909 South Seneca. Hey, it's Cosmic Bowling tonight at 10 o'clock. Seneca Bowl sponsors our Player of the Game, and we will thank other of our many sponsors throughout the course of the broadcast here tonight as Grizzly football rolls on, as it's Northwest and South here tonight from Carpenter Stadium. We will take a timeout. When we come back, we'll hear from Kevin Arkin, who had a chance to visit with Northwest head coach Steve Martin, and that interview brought to you by the United States Army. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back with more of our Toppers Plus pregame show as Grizzly football continues in a moment.
Welcome back to the Toppers Plus pregame show. It's time now for our weekly visit with head coach Steve Martin, brought to you each week by the U.S. Army. Check out goarmy.com to find a recruiting office near you. Coach, let's start by congratulating you on a very workmanlike homecoming win last week.
Yeah, it started out a little rough. We want to get some momentum going early with homecoming. It's one of those games where as coaches, you don't like homecoming. You feel like you kind of play methodical. And so, we came out buzzing right there at offense. We fumble the ball. We get the ball right back, and then we go back and score. And so we're trying to create some momentum and get the game going and kind of over with early. So instead of kicking it deep like we
working with Coach Martin.
normally do, I try to go for a little squib kick and try to recover. And, if the ball bounces the other way, it's our ball, but it bounces right into the kid's hand, and he takes it back, and it's 7-6 early. And we get going on offense, and defense gave up a really, after you all look at the play, a very good play, that good throw and catch by them. And then after that, just a workmanlike effort by our defense and giving us the ball back on home.
All of a sudden, 67 unanswered points after the 14-13 spread. Obviously we took charge in a real hurry.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do. We always want to get out of the gates. If you see the trend right now, we're starting to take the ball more at the start of the game, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to put pressure on people. And so, we've been stressing at practice, really getting out and scoring and getting out of the chute fast and stuff like that. But, last week, our defense did such a great job. They had minus 125 yards rushing, which set a state record last week. So, when anytime you're holding people to negative 125 yards rushing, it really doesn't matter what else they're doing, whether it's throwing it or whatever. You can't win football games when you're taking that many losses.
And I saw that article this morning. Someone actually emailed it to me this morning, and I intended to ask you about that. A negative 125 yards, is almost impossible to fathom.
Yeah, I mean, the defensive line and linebackers were just coming all night. With them throwing, I think they threw 90% of the time. And so, when you're throwing the ball constantly against us and you're not working short routes, our defensive line and outside backers are very athletic, and we can get after you fast. And, I believe we had 9 sacks and 14 tackles for losses. So, when you look at that and you start adding up yardage and 2 bad punts that they got tackled for with safeties and stuff like that, you start throwing those in the equation, and it can rack up on you. So, it's something we can hang our hat on. It's one of the things that, we always talk about stopping the run and running the football to win a football game in November. And that's kind of the mantra that we've been, since the Carroll game, is getting back to the basics, doing what we do, and putting 7 in the box and playing good football.
So now you turn your attention tonight to the South High Titans. That's a team that's been struggling all year as well. Is this team very similar to the Topeka Trojan team we just saw at home?
Yeah, absolutely. But, for us, it's all about us. Whether we're playing Bishop Carroll or East High or Heights or whoever we're playing, we always turn the attention on ourselves. So, we got some things that we got to work on. We're in a steam, almost like a collision course ready for Manhattan in 2 weeks, to where, not that we're looking ahead, but we got to get better at some certain things to be able to win that football game and be able to win football games in November. So we are really focused on ourselves right now.
I know you've talked about the Manhattan game before, and I know you're looking forward to that game in a couple of weeks. You've got a lot of work to do in between, but that is a non-league game. Does that make a difference for you, the fact that it's a non-league game over a city league game?
Well, what it's going to do is this year it's huge implications on seeding. So, basically if we win that game, depending if some things work in our favor over the next over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we could be anywhere from the 1 seed with a win over there, or, you could get knocked down to probably as low as a 6 or 7 seed. So the Manhattan game is such a important game because of seedings, and no, they could go from being the 1 seed all the way down to the 9 seed technically if some things fell in the wrong places. So it's a big game for seeding, kind of like last year with the Hayes game. The Hayes game had huge implications on seeding, and so that's the way we're addressing this right now.
And, of course, you want to play as many of those playoff games right here at home as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our record over the past 6-7 years at home are pretty impeccable. So anytime we can get here and we can have our crowd, because for whatever reason, sometimes our crowd doesn't travel as well, but, you know, here in the friendly confines, it seems like we can always draw better. And, you know, our kids feed off that. So for us as a staff, we are really focused on these next 3 weeks winning out to hopefully get, you know, that 1 seed or 2 seed.
Okay. Any injuries in the game last week against Topeka?
No, we're pretty healthy, so we'll be getting close to firing all cylinders finally.
Okay. Best of luck to you tonight against the South High Titans, and we'll look forward to a visit next week before the West game down at Riverfront Stadium.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Head coach Steve Martin on his weekly visit, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Check out goarmy.com for a recruiting office near you. The Toppers Plus pregame show will continue after a 2-minute timeout. This is Grizzly Football, sponsored by Mel Hamilton Ford.
Welcome back to Grizzly Stadium. Steve Strait and Kevin Harkin with our Toppers Plus pregame show. It's time now for our starting lineups, brought to you by Hog Wild Pit Barbecue at the corner of 21st and Tyler. Hog Wild, don't be late. They close at 8. Starting offensive unit for the Grizzlies looks like this. On the line, Jacob Lamb and Braxton Hopper are the tackles. Dalton Schrader and Alex Herrera the guards. In the middle is center Nathan Davis. The receivers, Michael Lopez leading the charge with 29 catches on the year, 7 touchdowns, a tremendous week for him last week. Takari Brown, Chase Carter are the others. The tailbacks, L.J. Phillips and Sincere Thompson. Phillips on the season, over 700 yards of rushing. Thompson on the year, 484. 4. Jace Glasper is the starting quarterback for Northwest, 6'2", 170 pounds. He is a junior, and he's thrown for just over 1,000 yards on the season. We are about to approach the national anthem, so we'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll run down more of our starting lineups in a moment as Northwest Grizzly football and our Toppers Plus pregame show continues in a moment. Toppers Plus pregame show rolls on. Toppers Plus, 333 North West Street in Wichita. Toppers Plus truck accessories. Make your truck work for you. We are in the middle of our starting lineups brought to you by Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. We've run down the Grizzly starting offensive unit. Now here's Kevin Arkin with the South defense.
And the South High defense features a four-man front. And pay attention to some of these numbers. You got on your defensive ends, Jerice Scott at 5'10", 175, and Sirion Hennigan at 6 foot 180. Both of them are juniors, and you'll notice they're both kind of light. In the middle, they've got some beef, though. They got 5'11", 300-pound senior Dadrian Dixon and Jerian Campbell, a 5'11", 275-pound senior. So the beef for them on the line is in the middle. Two linebackers, Jamarcus Webster, 5'11", 170. He's a sophomore. Caleb Mahomes, 5'11", 165, also a sophomore. Your cornerbacks, Shakur Harris at 6'1", 155. He's a senior. Andre Baker, 6'3", 155. He's a senior. Your safeties, Ivan Teal, 5'7", 135, a sophomore. And Ross Robinson, 5'11", 175. He's a junior. In the nickelback, Mikkel Brown, 5'9" and 155 pounds, and he is a senior.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. One of the first names that he mentioned was Caleb Mahomes, a linebacker. That's Mahomes with an L, like Ma and Holmes, not like Patrick Mahomes. So, no, Patrick Mahomes is not here. He doesn't have any relatives playing here that we know of. It is Mahomes with an L. Just wanted to clarify that because I'm sure that people would be wondering. Oh, wow.
And overall, this is a very small defensive starting unit.
Yes, it is. Last time we were here, the Grizzlies saw East, and they also lacked a lot of speed, had some quickness, lacked a lot of size, I should say, had some speed and athleticism. South, very much the same way. Okay, let's run down the Northwest starting defensive unit for you. First, the defensive ends, Trey Birch and Caden Ross. Birch, 6'2", 275. He's a junior. And Caden Ross is 6'1", 245 and a senior, and he is leading the team in tackles for loss with 11. He is also tops on the team in sacks with 3.5. Daniel Gallegos, the freshman, is first on the depth chart at the nose tackle position. He goes 5'10", 270. He's a freshman. The linebackers, also three of them, Philip Gibbons and John Michael Fountain, are on the outside, and Peyton Dean, what a splash he has made on the scene as a sophomore for Northwest. He is in the middle, 31 tackles on the season, second on the team. The cornerbacks are the Harrises, Jeremiah on one side and Dontrell on the other. And then the Grizzlies go with the three safeties, led by free safety Ben Heidebrecht, who leads the team in tackles. He's got 37. Trenton Salisbury and Jacob King are the other two. They've been injured off and on throughout the season, but both playing at a very, very high level. King, 20 tackles on the year. That's fourth on the team, and that's having missed a game or two with an injury. Same thing for Salisbury, who leads the team with 2 interceptions. That is tops on the team, but having a tremendous year in his own right. There is the Grizzly defense. And now here's Kevin with the starting offensive unit for South.
And South High's front line is going to be have a difficult task tonight going up against the Grizzly defense. But at left tackle, Parker Hartgrave, a 6'7", 325-pound sophomore. Left guard, Antonio Carrion, 5'10", 255-pound sophomore. At center, Talon Witzel, 5'9", 235. He's a sophomore. Right guard, Matthew Gotze, 6'3", 275. He's a senior. Right tackle is Scott Brookhauser. He's 6 foot, 215-pound junior. At quarterback, Carlin Ransom. Carlin Ransom, 6'1", 170-pound sophomore. Their running back, Caden Neal, 5'9", 175. He's a senior. You'll hear his name a lot tonight. 4 wideouts, Rashawn Johnson, 5'9", 155, a freshman. Evan Mbuli, 5'9", 155, a sophomore. Ivan Teal, 5'7", 135, a sophomore. And Cameron Wade at 5'10", 145. He is a junior, and that's your starting lineup for the offense for South.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. And once again, your starting lineups for tonight's game brought to you by Hog Wild at the corner of 21st and Tyler. Bingo Brashears is a big supporter of Northwest Athletics. He caters for them. He supports them. Stop by and see Bingo at 21st and Tyler, or any of the Hog Wilds for that matter. At the corner of 21st and Tyler, though, is the sponsor of your Grizzly and South starting lineups here tonight. And now it is time for our keys to tonight's contest. Our keys to tonight's game brought to you by Central Auto Repair and Electric. Not only will they give you a ride where you need to go while they work on your car, that's right, free courtesy shuttle service, they also provide free multi-point inspections with any other service performed. So go there and get an oil change. They'll also do a multi-point inspection and make sure your car checks out just fine. Central Auto Repair and Electric, 975 Northwest Street. All right, with tonight's keys to the contest, here's Kevin.
And for the South High Titans, they've got to recognize on paper that this is a mismatch between these two teams. Their only chance is to create timely turnovers defensively and then score off of them offensively. For Northwest, mentioned it before, they need to not look past tonight's game to next week. They need to consider this as a difficult and viable opponent. They need to play a clean game, keep the turnovers to an absolute minimum. LJ and Sincere, we need to have them big games on the ground again so we maintain ball possessions. And the special teams have done so well all year they need to keep that up.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. And those are your keys to tonight's game. Again, brought to you by Central Auto Repair and Electric at 975 Northwest Street. Captains are out at midfield. We are having the coin toss to determine who will get the football first. And as Steve Martin alluded to in his interview with Kevin, he has sort of changed his tune here lately. He wants the ball first whenever possible and to strike first, Kevin. For a while there, the Grizzlies in recent years had been deferring if they won the opening coin toss, but if the Grizzlies win that toss, they want the football early, and we're about to find out if that happens here, as it looks like the referee is just about to flip the coin. Northwest wanting to set the tone early and strike first. Your opening kickoff is brought to you by Jensen Chiropractic. Susan Jensen does sports physicals for area athletes for just $20. That's all area athletes, not just Northwest students, but all area athletes. $20 sports physicals at Jensen Chiropractic. She's right across from Northwest High School down from Ziggy's Pizza. Well, it's interesting. South has won the toss, and they've actually played right into the strategy that Steve Martin wants. They have deferred, and they're going to give the football to that high-powered Northwest offense first. That's kind of an interesting decision by South.
And the other interesting thing is that we get the wind first. There's not a lot of it, 10, 15 miles an hour, but it is going to be blowing from left to right, from east to west, as the wind is coming out of the northeast tonight, and that'll be an extra advantage for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, we don't have that south wind that prevails here in south central Kansas. If we did, it'd be blowing right into our face because this press box faces the south, but you can see the flag across the highway there, and it is blowing diagonally out of the northeast, so it will be a diagonal breeze, as Kevin alluded to, from the northeast corner of the stadium toward the southwest, and the Grizzlies will be moving in that direction, although again not a big breeze blowing right now at around 12 miles an hour. Your game time temperature 53 degrees with that breeze out of the northeast at about 12 miles an hour. And your game time temperature and conditions brought to you by Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, where they do implants. They also want you to know they treat patients of all ages, from youth up to senior citizens. Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry sponsors your game time conditions.
And we finally got football weather. It took us to Game 6 to get it, Steve, but we finally have a nice football evening.
What a difference it makes. We were here just 2 weeks ago, and it was about 80 degrees at kickoff and sunny. Not much wind at all, and now it is a crisp south central Kansas air in mid-October for football on a Friday night. South is the home team. They're in their home blue jerseys with gray pants, red numbers on those blue jerseys, and also blue helmets with the red South logo on it. Northwest, the road team, in their road whites, white jerseys with gold pants, and blue numbers on the white jerseys. They also have blue and gold helmets. It's interesting, Michael Lopez is not back deep for Northwest. Very deep. They've got Ronald Bohannon Jr. as Aaron Bohannon Jr., back as the furthest man. Lopez is one of the up men up at the 25-yard line, along with Sincere Thompson. So the backup running back is deepest, and then Lopez and Thompson are a little bit ahead at the 25.
I kind of like that move. That gives Bohannon some experience back there on kick return duty.
He has gotten plenty of play as a backup running back in some of these blowouts that the Grizzlies have had, and he's going to be back deep right here. We're still waiting to get the football teed up, and finally we are. Again, the Grizzlies will go from our left to right. Shakur Harris, who is a defensive back, will tee it up for South. From our right to left, west to east, he will go. And he approaches the ball, meets it, end over and kick is going to be caught by Bohannon out at the 20-yard line. And here we go, right up the gut. He's got room, and look out, a burst of speed, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Welcome, Bohannon Jr. on the opening kickoff, an 80-yard touchdown return, 6-0 Grizzlies.
Well, that sure didn't take long, Steve. Bohannon found a seam right up the middle of the field. All he had to do was fly into it and take off. Nobody was going to catch him. He had a burst of speed on that none of the special teams unit for South High was going to be able to catch up.
I mean, it was shocking that South gave Northwest the football first, but nobody expected that. An 80-yard kickoff return to get us started. Wow. Now, Tyler Smalley is on to attempt the extra point. Well, now you know why Aaron Bohannon Jr. was back deep.
There was a reason for that. Good strategy on the part of the coaching staff.
We thought that, we knew that Lopez had a burst of speed like that, but wow. Smalley's extra point is right through. We'll take a timeout right away. 13 seconds in, 7-0 Grizzlies. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Go anywhere. So 2nd and 10 for the Titans here, and their quarterback is Carlin Ransom. He drops back on 2nd down and throws a quick out to the right side. Too high, incomplete. It's 3rd down and 10. 7-0 Northwest. 13 seconds into the game. The Grizzlies get the opening kickoff return for a touchdown. And now South has run 2 plays from scrimmage since the kickoff after that.
And that's the first time they've run the opener back this year.
Well, you talk about getting punched in the mouth early. How about that?
You bet.
2nd and 10 for South. Ransom is out of the shotgun. 4 receivers back, flushed out, rolling to the left, and he's just going to throw this away. This might be grounding. That did not make it back to the line of scrimmage, and he was under duress and just threw the ball away. That was actually 3rd down, I beg your pardon, and now it's 4th. There's not going to be any flags, Kevin. I'm a little shocked. I thought
that should have been grounding because it did not make it back to the line of scrimmage, and there was nobody in the neighborhood.
So 7-0 Northwest, and they're about to get the football back right away. Michael Lopez is returning the punt, and he's standing at the South 49-yard line. So South goes nowhere, not even a yard gained on their first possession of the game. A very quick 3 and out. And now the snap goes over the punter's head. It's rolling around in the end zone, and he tries to get rid of it, and it's blocked and out of the end zone. That will be a safety, and that is the 3rd safety that the Grizzlies have been able to force in the last 2 weeks. And thanks in large part to another high snap.
Boy, that snap was 5 feet over the punter's head. Landed on the first bounce inside the end zone. Punter went back, tried to kick it. Pressure kick, couldn't get it away.
So 57 seconds into the game, the Grizzlies have already scored twice, and both times by their special teams. once by their kick return unit on the opening kickoff, return for a touchdown. Aaron Bohannon Jr. leading the charge there. Then it and he will kick it away. And Bohannon Jr. is back deep. This is a high twisting kick. This will actually be caught by one of the upmen for Northwest, who's dancing around, shifting. That's Lopez, and Lopez is going to get dropped at about the 48-yard line. So the Grizzlies will have tremendous starting field position here, already leading 9-0, Kevin, but their offense is about to touch the ball for the first time tonight.
I know. How do you like to have a high-powered offense and be spotted 2 scores?
And Northwest has the ball in plus territory to boot. Out of the shotgun, it's going to be Jace Glasper. He's got 2 running backs behind him. And he's going to turn around. It's going to be a toss right side. L.J. Phillips, he's got room right up the middle. Look out. Breaks out of a tackle at the 35. Falls forward inside the 30 and down to the 22, or excuse me, the 27. That'll be a 21-yard run and a 4 points insurance first down.
And Ross Robinson of South High saved a touchdown.
To do what he did. It's still going to be a first down, but the Grizzlies now have 5 yards to go. It's going to be 1st and 5 after the hold because it was a spot foul, so they'll toss it left side. This is Thompson. Thompson on the pitch. He's got room. Here's a flag again. Thompson is going to score pending the flag, but we think this one's coming back as well. Looked like there was a hold that helped spring Thompson through the second level and on into the end zone, and the Grizzlies are already walking back again.
Well, that may be the reason he scored on that play, Steve, is that the hole was made extra large by an illegal move.
We didn't get the jersey number of the guilty party, so that's 2 big, long runs for Northwest.
And that's a first down anyway.
Again, it was the spot of the foul, and I mentioned that hold took place in the second edge, so the Grizzlies did get first down yardage, then the hold occurred, then you move it back 10 yards, but it's still a first down from the south 35-yard line. Glasper out of the gun. Thompson behind him. Draw play right up the middle. Nothing doing. Or no, Thompson breaks free. He's breaking free, and he's off to the races. 20, 10, 5, touchdown. He disappeared into a pile, Kevin. I thought he was down. He sprung free, takes it to the house. 35 yards later, touchdown Grizzlies.
He was on his way down with 2 guys on his back and somehow managed to stand up, and all of a sudden, there was nothing in front of him.
Wow. So the Grizzlies don't let the 2 holding penalties phase them. And on the first and second try, Kevin, the third time was the charm.
It was indeed.
Smalley's extra point is good. 10:18 to go first quarter. And the Grizzlies already have put up 16, Northwest 16, South nothing. Back by Mel Hamilton fourth. Tyler Smalley's kicked through the end zone, so another touchback. We've played less than 2 minutes, and the Northwest Grizzlies have already put up 16 points. No, not 2 touchdowns and two-point conversions, but 2 touchdowns and a safety. And the Grizzlies out early. 1st and 10 for South here from their own 20. Carlin Ransom is the quarterback. He's got the shotgun snap, rolling under pressure, out to the right, throws on the run, incomplete. And it kind of looks like last week as Mark Marinelli, Kevin, really dialing up the pressure, getting those defenders in the backfield in a hurry.
And again, the pressure this time forcing the quarterback literally to run it out of bounds. He was running for his life when he threw it.
2nd and 10 South. Ransom out of the gun. Movement on the Grizzly line. Might have been a hard count, but they're not going to throw a flag as Trey Birch got back in time. So we will play on. Ransom still calling out the signals. Started out, now back in. Now he's under pressure. Now he's scrambling, and down he goes. And 3 or 4 Grizzlies are there to wrestle him down once again. Northwest in the backfield in a hurry. That's going to be a loss of about 4 yards, and just like that, that will bring up 3rd down. Caden Ross, who leads the team in tackles for loss on the season with 11, was in to help again.
And Peyton Dean broke through the line literally as the ball was being snapped and started the pressure off to allow Ross to make the tackle.
Penalty has been called against South. So actually, they're going to march this one back. It looks like the Grizzlies will take the penalty, and this will move the line of scrimmage back to the 15-yard line. So it's still 2nd down. Didn't see that flag during the live play, but South penalized, so it's
I think it was after the play, Steve.
Okay, 2nd and 12 from the 15. Ransom back, throws a little screen out to the near side, and the Grizzlies read that one beautifully. 3 or 4 converge. It reminds me of the East game a couple of weeks ago, Kevin. They tried that a lot as well, but it didn't fool the Grizzlies. Certainly not freshman John Michael Fountain. He was in to help on the stop.
He was, and he had plenty of company with him. There are 3 guys doing the right side, and they all converged on that tackle.
3rd and 16 for South from their own 14-yard line. 16-0 Northwest, 8:45 to go, 1st quarter. Now there's a flag and a pre-snap penalty against South this time. They're going to go back 5 more yards, Kevin.
Titans are going in the wrong direction in a real hurry. They've lost 20 yards on this possession.
And they might be about to punt the football away to Northwest and give the Grizzlies great field position again. Ransom shotgun on 3rd and 16 from his own 14. Back swarmed under, has to throw under duress. Nobody's home, overthrown, incomplete. And another 3 and out. That's 2 of those in a row. And indeed, the Grizzlies look to get the ball back with great field position again.
And of course, after the last punt attempt, when the ball got snapped into the end zone, here they are, backed up to their own goal line, punting one more time.
And Michael Lopez is going to step back inside the South 40-yard line. In fact, he's inching his way up to the 35. That's where he's at, and you're going to have to watch the punt snap again. That's how the Grizzlies have already picked up a safety on a high, deep snap to the punter who is standing in the end zone, and that's Caden Neal. He does get the snap and get this one away. It's a low kick that's going to take a South bounce, and it's going to stop rolling at the 41-yard line. That's a 27-yard punt. No return. 8.5 to go, 1st quarter. Northwest 16, South nothing, and the Grizzlies have the football for their 2nd possession of the game with great starting field position again.
Excellent field position. Both times they've been in South High territory on the start of their drive, and so far nothing's stopping them.
1st and 10 Northwest. Out of the shotgun is Glasper. He's going to hand it off to Thompson, coming around to the left, now back to the middle, now to the near side. He's got a ton of room. He's got the 20, he's got the 10, the 5, touchdown Grizzlies. Sincere Thompson starts one way, comes back the other. 41 yards later, he's in the end zone. It's 22-0, Northwest with the lead.
Unbelievable how wide open the right side of the field was for Sincere Thompson to run through. There was nobody over there defensively for South. There's some missed assignments there somewhere.
And so Tyler Smalley on for already his 3rd extra point on its way. And good, 8:19 to go, 1st quarter. Northwest 23, South nothing. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Tyler Smalley to kick it off, and this is going to be a little short onside kick almost. It's caught by South at the 43-yard line. Well, the Grizzlies tried the little element of surprise right there. Didn't surprise South. One of the up men comes up with the catch.
I'm sure they've looked at that on film ad nauseum because we've been doing that all year. Although when we've been doing it, it's been Braden Sauter doing it as opposed to Tyler. And we probably will not see Braden Sauter tonight. He's got a knee injury.
That was John Ray making the special teams catch. So South with great starting field position here. 1st and 10 from their own 43-yard line. Carlin Ransom is their quarterback. He's going to hand it off. This is Caden Neal, and Neal slips to the 43-yard line, which is only the original line of scrimmage. No gain on the run, 2nd and 10.
Grizzlies defense up to the task so far tonight. They have stopped everything that South has tried to do.
Northwest is also +9 on turnovers this season. 12 takeaways to just 3 turnovers themselves. So far, a good start defensively for the Grizzlies tonight. No turnovers, but this team in all 3 phases has been dominant. They lead 23-0. We've not even played 5 minutes of the first quarter. Ransom, shotgun. He's back. He wants to run. Started up the middle. Now out to the left. He escapes one tackle from Fountain, then runs back to the right, and he only makes it back to the line of scrimmage again. He ran about 20 yards and gained none, though, Kevin. It's 3rd down.
He basically ran in circles. He had John Michael Fountain hanging onto his jersey for most of it, and then he broke free, and as soon as he broke free, 2 other guys came in and clobbered him.
Clock running, 7:09 to go, first quarter, 23-0 Northwest with the lead. 3rd down and 10 for South here. Passing situation for the Titans, and let's see if Mark Marinelli and that Grizzly defense dials up some pressure again. Ransom's going to drop back out of the shotgun. The running backs are going to serve as blockers here as Ransom is back. Here comes the pressure. Scrambling, and down he goes. Thrown down in the backfield, a sack for the Grizzlies again. There's Peyton Dean. Already called his name a couple times. He gets a big sack. That's going to be a loss of about 8 yards, and it's 4th down.
Peyton Dean all over that play, and Ransom had absolutely nowhere to go.
So Michael Lopez is back out. That's 3 3-and-outs for South now. They've run 9 plays. And I don't think they've not gained any yards, Kevin.
I've got them for -13 yards on those 9 plays.
Yeah, Grizzlies off to another record-setting type performance defensively in the rushing yards allowed department. Punt is away. It's going to take a Grizzly bounce and get down to the 38-yard line. 27-yard punt, no return. Exactly 6 minutes to go, first quarter. 23-0 Northwest with the lead. And look at this miserable field position for the Grizzlies, Kevin. All the way back at their own 39-yard line. They may not know what to do right here.
Well, it's a part of the field they've not seen yet tonight, that's for sure.
Out of the shotgun, Jace Glasper. Man behind him, 3 receivers. Slots on the near side as Northwest runs from our left to right. Glasper back, play action, throws deep down the middle of the field. He's got a man wide open. That's going to be Takari Brown. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown Grizzlies. From 61 yards, that's what you do with that field position. A deep post to Brown, and the Grizzlies are in the end zone again.
Brown was one of 2 receivers who got behind their safeties and were wide open. Glasper had a choice, is what I'm trying to say. He could have thrown to one of 2 guys and gotten a touchdown on that play.
Kevin, do you know what Brown can do for you? A 61-yard post pattern for a touchdown.
That's the 2nd time in 2 weeks he's done that.
Here, in fact, in this stadium.
Yes.
Tyler Smalley is on for the extra point. Grizzlies have somebody coming on very late. That's the only thing they haven't done right tonight. Snap is back, kick's on its way, and the kick is through. 5:50 to go first quarter. It is Northwest 30, South nothing. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. Tyler Smalley's kick out of the end zone. 5:50 to go, first quarter. Northwest. You can't call it a typo when it's radio, so you're hearing this right. It is 30-0 with 5:50 left in the first quarter.
Unbelievable how they're putting the points up. They've done everything right, and in all fairness, everything has also gone right for them.
South has run 3 series, and on all 3 cases, they've been 3 and out. Grizzlies started off with a bang. They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and they have not let up since. Shotgun formation here for Carlin Ransom, and he's going to hand it off, and the running game going nowhere as the Grizzlies read that one beautifully. This is going to be a loss of yardage again, and for Northwest on the stop, Philip Givens, the outside linebacker that time, a loss of a yard. Caden Neal on the carry. It's 2nd and 11. Ransom out of the gun on 2nd and 11. 3 receiver slots on the right, and this is going to be an option. Ransom's going to keep it, and this is going to be positive yardage across the 20, the 25, out to the 26. That'll be a 7-yard gain and bring up 3rd down and short.
And believe it or not, that is the first positive yardage play of the night for the Titans.
They need some here to keep the football and the drive alive. 3rd and 4 from the 26-yard line. Ransom, shotgun, option again. Started left, now comes back to the right, and he's stacked up at the 30-yard line. He might have just enough for the first down. I thought he got hit at the 29, but they'll say the 30, and that's just enough to move the chains.
Philip Givens stacked him up, but he still managed just to get to the edge of the sticks.
So first down for South. Clock under 4:50 to go, first quarter. Northwest on top, 30-0. Ransom out of the shotgun, 3 receivers. He's going to keep it this time, fake the handoff, drag down in the backfield, and we might have a face mask. One of the Grizzlies got back there in a hurry. I think that was Trey Birch who hit him first and also might have grabbed the headgear.
It sure looked like a face mask from here.
It went for no gain, but the flag was thrown right as the tackle was being made. Here comes the referee. We'll see if he gives us a number. Well,
it's a holding penalty.
Boy, and you could almost see, I thought Ransom's helmet jerked back too, Kevin.
I did too. I really thought he got that he got the face mask, and that was what the flag was for.
But they call a hold on South, and that moves the line of scrimmage all the way back to the 20, so it's 1st and 20. Ransom will run the option here, and Givens has a hold of him, drags him down at the 21-yard line. Only a gain of 1 on the option keeper. This Grizzly defense is swarming again tonight. Philip Givens already had his name called a few times, just a junior. The starting linebackers for Northwest, freshman, sophomore, and junior, Fountain, Dean, and Givens, respectively.
And that says a lot for the future of this program.
2nd and 19 for South from their own 21. This is going to be a handoff, and this is going to be the running back, Caden Neal, and he breaks free across the 20, 25, up to the 31, maybe the 32. He'll pick up about 11, get back a big chunk of what was needed for a first down. He's just inside the original line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and long.
And it's 3rd and long still, even after that big run.
They need 9. 3rd and 9. Ransom, shotgun, back. Looking to the right, throws on the run, behind the intended receiver and incomplete. He had Cameron Wade out there who was going to be open in the seam, but it was thrown behind him. You can probably think that Grizzly pressure again, Kevin. It's 4th down.
It is. Yeah, the defensive pressure has just been too much. First of all, that offensive line of South High is just unable to keep up with our defensive line.
Well, South did a good job of moving the football initially. They picked up their first down of the game, but they will have to punt the football away. And now it's Cameron Wade back to punt, and he punts it to Michael Lopez. Fair catch called for at the 47-yard line. 22-yard punt, no return. 3:19 to go, first quarter. Northwest 30, South nothing. Grizzlies have already had a 1-play drive in this contest, going to the air to Takari Brown the last time. Let's see what they do here. I think the Sincere Thompson run was also the first play of that drive.
It was indeed. They've had 2 one-yard drives in this game.
First and 10 Grizzlies here. This is going to be a handoff, and this is going to be Phillips coming right, trying to get the edge. And too many blue jerseys there. There was one blocker, and that was actually Sincere Thompson, the running back, and 3 defenders who chased Phillips out of bounds up at the 48-yard line of South. Still, though, a 4-yard gain. Northwest is in plus territory now. 2nd down and 6 from the South, 48. Shotgun for Glasper. He's going to throw a swing pass out to Lopez on the far side. He tries to get to the edge, and he does. He's inside the 40, down to the 38, maybe the 37. They'll say the 38, but that'll be a 10-yard pickup and a 4 points insurance first down. 4 Points Insurance sponsors all Grizzlies first downs this season. Give Chuck Johnson and his staff a call, 946-0721, 946-0721. 4 Points can help you with your commercial or personal lines of insurance. We got a penalty.
Looks like a hold during the run after the catch. Basically, he's going to put the ball back right where it was.
Back at the 48-yard line. So we'll try it again. 2nd down and 6 from the South, 48-yard line. Glasper will operate out of the gun. 3 receivers. Lopez is the slot on the near side as the Grizzlies move from our left to right. Glasper, toss, left side, Phillips. Phillips has the edge. Phillips has the 40. Phillips has the 30. Phillips is going to win this foot race all the way to the house from 48 yards out. Touchdown Grizzlies. 36-0 Northwest now with the lead.
2 blocks on the run, and L.J. Phillips off to the races.
Now we may have another penalty here. Boy, is this another hold on Northwest? Here comes the referee with a call. They're coming back. Boy, this is 3 big runs taken back. 4.
Yep. It is a hold. That wipes out a 48-yard run.
4 times now big Grizzly runs have been brought back by holds. Northwest will have a first down. It's at the 32-yard line of South. They'll move the chains, but it's got to concern Steve Martin a little bit. 30-0, though, Northwest with the lead. That doesn't concern Coach Martin. With 2:15 to go in the first quarter, clock is running. Jace Glasper, shotgun, 3 receivers, slots on the right. Glasper, shotgun, fakes a toss, throws down the middle of the field. He's got a man wide open. Lopez, touchdown. There's a flag down, though. And
come on.
Lopez is already Glasper already acting in frustration well behind the line of scrimmage. Now, this one was thrown at the snap, so it might be some sort of motion.
Yep. Motion penalty. Now that wipes out a 32-yard score. So we've had 2 touchdowns called back on this drive.
And 3 long runs prior to this drive. So it's 1st and 15 Northwest from back at the South 37-yard line. 1:55 to go first quarter. Grizzlies up 30-0. Glasper, gun. 3 receivers, fakes the toss, same play, deep post, has a man, Lopez is there, touchdown Grizzlies. They just went right back to the well and found it again, and Lopez, 37 yards later, post-pattern touchdown Grizzlies.
How can Lopez get that open on 2 consecutive plays running the same play? Pardon me. That makes no sense to me.
36-0 Northwest, and we are not out of the first quarter. Tyler Smalley on to attempt the extra point, and it is through. 1:41 to go first quarter. Northwest 37, South nothing. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Tyler Smalley's kickoff into the end zone again, and the Northwest Grizzlies defense, swarming as they've been, back out onto the field, leading South 37-0. We are late in the first quarter is all.
Steve, we've had the ball 5 times, and we've scored 6 times. That's the kind of night it's been.
So now South will set up shop 1st and 10 from their own 20 again. And Carlin Ransom will hand it off. This is going to be Neal. Neal around the right side, tried to sliver through traffic. There's nowhere to go. And he may have lost the football. He did, and Northwest comes away with it. As the Grizzlies get the fumble, and they're going to set up shop here inside the 20-yard line of South.
Boy, nothing has gone right for the Titans tonight. They're just having a heck of a time out there.
And Northwest liking to go quickly, especially after something like this. Let's see if Steve Martin doesn't go right back to the air.
Oh, I expect a home run ball here.
1st and 10 for Northwest. Jaleel Cooper, a seldom used receiver, is out wide to the right. 2 receivers out on the left side, including Lopez, who's the slot. 1st and 10, Glasper is back, and he's looking toward the end zone, nothing there. And then down he goes. He's tripped up. Nicely defended that time by South. So give the Titans credit. Mikel Brown, a nickel safety and a senior, in on the sack. Or excuse me, it's right back to the line of scrimmage. Technically not a sack, and it's 2nd down. Do we have a penalty, though? We do. Hold on.
Oh, my gosh, another penalty.
And this is on Northwest, and it'll move it back 5 to the 24-yard line.
This is the only thing wrong with the Northwest game plan here tonight, as far as execution is concerned, is all the penalties.
1st and 15, Grizzlies. Glasper out of the gun. The 2 running backs are stacked up on the right so that they can do a jet sweep end around to Lopez. And he's upended about the 22-yard line. And now some pushing and shoving going on right there after the play. But that'll bring up 2nd down. Lopez got almost back to the original line of scrimmage. It's 2nd down and 12 from the South 21. Shotgun for Glasper. 3 receivers out. 2 of them out to the left. Handoff, Sincere Thompson starting to the left. Now back up the middle inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. Pretty good gain for Sincere there. And the Grizzlies approach closer to the end zone. Caleb Mahomes, that's with an L on the stop. It's 3rd and short. Glasper out of the gun. Fakes the handoff. Pre-snap penalty again. This is on Northwest, I believe. What is going on?
I think Steve Martin's going to have a few words here.
Well, it's on South. It must have been encroachment because they blew the play dead. If somebody jumps off sides and they don't get back in time, they normally will let it go. But if it's encroachment, you contact somebody.
Yeah, if you touch somebody, it's dead ball.
1st and goal, Grizzlies just inside the 10. Fake handoff, a draw play, then a quick slant to the end zone too high. And incomplete, intended for Takari Brown out on the near side, running a skinny post. It's 2nd down.
And that's the first incompletion for Northwest tonight.
2nd and goal from the 8. 21 seconds left in the first quarter. 37-0 Northwest with the lead. Glasper, 3 receivers, slots out to the left, toss left side. L.J. Phillips gets the edge to the 5. He's to the 1, to the goal line, touchdown.
There's
Hold
the
on.
flag.
Guess what? Flag comes raining. This is getting ridiculous.
This is.
You know, and it looks like it's going to be a hold just based on where the flag was thrown.
It was thrown into the offensive line, so I'm sure that's what it is.
They don't ever say what
They don't say the number. They haven't said the number all night. No.
You know, there's an old saying that you could probably, if you wanted to, call a hold on every
play, yeah, that's right.
These officials seem to have taken that to heart.
There have been a lot of holds called tonight.
So the Grizzlies.
But I'm not blaming the officials for that because all the holds have been on us.
2nd and goal from the 13. Glasper is going to hand it off. Coming right, this is Phillips inside the 10, barreling his way down to the 5, down to the 2. So L.J. Phillips gets almost all the yardage back at the end of the first quarter. We'll go to the second with the Grizzlies having 3rd and goal from the 2. The score after 1, Northwest 37 and South nothing. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. First play of the second quarter. Can the Grizzlies score a touchdown? They did it on the first play of the game. Opening kickoff, return for a touchdown. Here, they have 3rd down and goal from the 2. And we'll see if the Grizzlies can indeed punch it in, leading 37-0 as we start quarter number 2. Shotgun to Glasper, handoff Phillips, right up the middle, touchdown Grizzlies. And as is usually the case, when the Grizzlies run up the middle, Kevin, it's just too easy.
The defensive line of South High cannot stop that run up the middle. They're getting blown off the ball sideways, literally creating like a driveway for them to walk through.
We've seen it throughout the season. When the Grizzlies run it up the middle, that offensive line creates huge, huge holes. And the extra point by Smalley is through. We'll take the timeout. 11:56 to go. Second quarter, Northwest 44, South nothing. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. Hey, the South Titans are going to get a kickoff return opportunity. Smalley's kick a little bit short, and it's going to be brought out to the 17-yard line. So finally an opportunity for South to return a kick. And the Titans get about a 15-yard return. And for South on the return, that was Ivan Teal, receiver and defensive back, plays both ways some. 1st and 10 South from their own 19-yard line. 11:49 to go, second quarter. Northwest 44, South nothing.
Give Heidebrecht credit for a great open field tackle to stop that run back.
1st and 10 for South at their own 19. Carlin Ransom is the quarterback. Out of the shotgun, he'll send out 3 receivers. He'll run a zone read and then get swarmed under in the backfield. The Grizzlies not fooled on the zone read, and Ransom will lose yardage on that carry, and that'll bring up 2nd down and long. And that was John Michael Fountain, that freshman linebacker, again on the stop. Started the night 5th on the team with 16 tackles. He's got at least a couple here this evening.
He's got several, and they've all been very well handled by the young freshman for Northwest.
It's 2nd and 11 for South from their own 18-yard line. South will send out 4 receivers this time, 2 of them to each side, 1 running back who is to the right of the quarterback, Carlin Ransom. South scrimmaging from our left to right here in quarter number 2, which is east to west at Carpenter Stadium. Now a whistle, and South is going to call a timeout before this snap. We'll keep it right here. 10:57 to go. Second quarter. We've probably played enough commercials to pay the bills for the next 3 weeks. It's Northwest 44 and South nothing. The score early second quarter.
I might point out they have a new running back at does South, but I don't know. I believe it's Andre Baker. I'm not 100% sure. I caught the number just as they were coming off.
South wearing their blue jerseys with red numbers, not the easiest contrast.
I'm going to say the same thing I said 2 nights ago, and that is they need to get a new haberdasher.
Now, part of the point of having jersey numbers is for identification. And sometimes it seems that simple way of thinking gets thrown out the window. White numbers on the dark jerseys.
That would be nice. That would be nice. But the red on the blue just doesn't cut it.
You can't go wrong.
So
East wore the light blue numbers on the dark blue jerseys.
I'll send a shout out to Mike Skaggs. He knows what I'm talking about, the coach over at Bishop Carroll, their soccer team.
2nd and 11 for South. This is going to be a toss. Right side. Doesn't matter who the running back is. The Grizzlies are reading the run very, very well. And I think
Peyton Dean just
Dean.
leveled them.
Indeed he did. And that was Ivan Teal, who was the ball carrier that time. He's listed as a receiver. He's the man that returned that kick a few minutes ago, but he took that toss, but it went nowhere except backwards, and South lost a few. It's now 3rd down and 15 from their own 14-yard line. 10:20 to go, second quarter, 44-0. Northwest with the lead. Carlin Ransom out of the shotgun. 4 receivers. He's under pressure, and down he goes. Before he can even look up and catch the snap practically, he's being wrestled down to the ground for a sack, and that, for Northwest, was a sack by Brady Johnson. 5'11", 220-pounder, and a sophomore is all, and a big loss for South. It's 4th down at their own 5-yard line. They'll punt it away.
Johnson was in the backfield literally before the ball was.
He almost intercepted the shotgun snap. He was back there so quickly. All right, so it'll be a punt for Cameron Wade. A high, very short kick that's going to land at about the 22 and bounce about 4 yards to the 26. That is only a 19-yard punt with no return. 9.5 to go, second quarter. Grizzlies set up shop, only 26 yards away from the end zone, leading already by the score of 44-0. Jace Glasper has L.J. Phillips to his right. 3 receivers, slots on the right. Now Phillips goes in motion, shifts over to the left of his quarterback, who's out of the gun. Now Phillips moves back to the right side. Now Glasper has the shotgun snap, and he'll roll out to the right, throws toward the front corner of the end zone. He's got a man there, and the pass is caught. Touchdown Grizzlies. And another one-play drive for Northwest. 26 yards later, the Grizzlies are in the end zone. And that was Takari Brown again. Nope, it was Lopez. I beg your pardon. Is that now 3 one-play touchdowns?
It is 3 one-play touchdown drives in this game.
Plus the opening kick returned for a touchdown.
Which was 1 play.
Time of possession, if we were able to keep track of that, Kevin,
we'd be losing the time of possession.
Yes, yeah.
We would be losing it because South High's been on the field plenty. They just haven't done anything.
It is 51-0. Smalley's extra point good, by the way. 51-0. Northwest with the lead. 9:25 to go, second quarter.
It's unbelievable.
Well, we are destined for a running.
Six to nothing, and both coaches were so gracious. I really loved reading that from both sides. Congratulations to both of those coaches for the way they handled it.
Smalley kicks it off. This is going to be a shorter kick that's going to land outside the 10-yard line. And it's going to be brought out across the 20 to the 23-yard line. And Tyler Smalley kicking into that breeze. You can notice a difference. His 2 kickoffs going right to left have not quite made it to the end zone like most of his others.
He's probably got a sore leg.
There's also about a 13-mile-an-hour breeze blowing out of the northeast, and the Grizzlies are moving from west to east, right to left here at Carpenter Stadium. Don't find too many west to east stadiums around here.
Nope, there aren't. No, it's mostly north-south fields, and this stadium is so old, it was built back when they really didn't care about direction. Say what?
I said when you were born.
Yeah, thank you very much.
1st and 10 for South. You got to have fun when it's 51-0.
Absolutely.
South will run a play here that goes a couple yards forward to the 25-yard line. Well, I was talking with Russ Wells yesterday, the head coach of South, and he's been here now for a few years, and I think he's done a nice job of trying to get the culture turned around here. And
it takes time.
It does.
It does take time.
And I asked him about their numbers, and he said their numbers are actually still on the rise, getting more participation, and that's one of the starting points you have to have. And these things, they don't happen overnight.
No, they don't. It's gonna be a year or two before you see any real changes, I think.
2nd and 8. And this is going to be a pass out to the far side, and it's picked off. It's picked off by the Grizzlies to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Northwest on a pick 6 on a little curl route on the far sideline, trying to identify a number, but we know it's a Grizzly touchdown. And
20,
I think
23.
that's Dontrell Harris. It is.
It is.
He was on the far side of the field, jumped the route, and had nothing but turf in front of him. And Dontrell Harris picks up his 2nd interception of the year, and the Grizzlies now have a lead of 57-0. 8.5 to go, 2nd quarter. Tyler Smalley is on for the extra point, and it's on its way, and it is good. We'll take the timeout. 8.5 to go, 2nd quarter. Northwest 58, South nothing. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Left, 2nd quarter, 58-0. Northwest with the lead. Tyler Smalley will kick it off for Northwest and decides just to try to kick a high short one and see if the Grizzlies can get some sort of funky bounce. Instead, it bounces the wrong way and out of bounds. Not the only thing, well, other than the other penalties, the holding call.
Just another penalty.
Yeah. Most everything else has gone right for Northwest. 8:26 left, 2nd quarter. It is Northwest 58 and South nothing. And we'll see if the South Titans can get.
This is their best field position of the night.
Yeah, see if they can get some positive vibes going here with their offense now. 1st and 10 from their own 35. Scrimmaging from our left to right. Carlin Ransom is the quarterback. And they've got 3 receivers with a slot on the left side. Ransom's going to keep it himself. He's going to turn the corner. He's got some room here. 35-40, 45-50. Inside the 40, inside the 35, all the way down to the 31-yard line before Heidebrecht finally wrestles him down. And there's some positive big yardage for South that time.
34 yards on that run, Steve, and beautifully done. He swung out to the right, made the cut, blew by one tackler, and off to the races, and Heidebrecht was lucky to be able to catch up with him.
And that kind of woke the Grizzlies up here now. Let's see how they respond to that. This defense plays with so much pride. 1st and 10 for South from the Grizzly 31-yard line. Ransom's out of the gun. He's got 3 receivers again, and the slot's on the left again. And this will be a handoff coming left. Not much doing that time. And that's going to be a short gain of a couple and bring up 2nd down.
I'm surprised that they're still trying to run the ball up the middle, Steve. I would think that they would figure out that that is clogged and it's going to be all night, and that they would make those sweep runs and look for opportunities to cut.
2nd down and 9 now for South. Ball at the Grizzly 30-yard line. Ransom out of the shotgun, has 3 receivers. This time he's going to run an option, then he's going to turn it up himself inside right guard. Positive yardage there inside the 25. Pretty good gain that time. And Harlan Ransom, the quarterback for South, starting to find some space. However, the tide's starting to turn in terms of holding penalties.
Well, this is the first holding penalty of the night against the Titans.
So that positive yardage for South is negated by a holding call that'll move the football back to the 40-yard line of Northwest.
Way too much yellow laundry on the field tonight.
7:14 and running, 2nd quarter. Northwest up 58-0. Now the South Titans have 2nd and 19 from the Grizzly 40. So Ransom will back up out of the gun. This time South will go with 4 receivers, 2 on each side as they move from our left to right. Ransom has the shotgun snap and he's back. He's going to lob one down the field. Man is wide open at the 10. Pass is caught to the 5 and a touchdown for South. And how about that for a little spark from the home team?
And they stole a play right out of our book, Steve. A receiver got behind 2 safeties and off to the races he went.
So credit the South Titans for continuing to fight, and they find a deep post for a touchdown on a 40-yard strike, and now they're going to go for 2, trailing by the score of 58-6. Ransom's going to get the shotgun snap, get the edge to the 5, to the goal line, and he got in. Touched or 2-point conversion, good for South as it's Ransom running it in for 2. Hey, don't go anywhere. 6:45 left. 2nd quarter, South gets on the board. Grizzlies 58, South 8. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. On the ensuing kickoff, after South's first touchdown of the night, the Grizzlies get a big return into South territory, and here come the Grizzlies. That was Sincere Thompson. Yes, he's one of the upmen on the return team, and he takes it all the way inside the 35-yard line of South to the 33. So the Grizzlies looking to strike back quick after giving up a touchdown moments ago.
50-yard return on that kickoff for the Grizzlies, and Thompson just blew it right up the sideline.
1st and 10 Northwest. Glasper sends out 3 receivers to the near side. He scoops up the low snap, hands it off to L.J. Phillips on a draw. Phillips breaks through tackles, gets out to the edge, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10. He's to the 5, and it's a touchdown, L.J. Phillips. The 4th one-play drive of the night for Northwest, and just like that, the Grizzlies have answered on the South touchdown. It's 64-8.
And no flags on that one, Steve. This one's going to count.
Stop the presses there. The Grizzlies didn't take long to bounce back after the South touchdown and 2-point conversion. Now Tyler Smalley is on to attempt the extra point, which is on its way, and it is good. 6:24 to go second quarter. We'll stay here. Northwest 65 and South 8. And Kevin, for the average fan that might be listening and thinking, well, you're up 58-0, so if you give up a touchdown, it's probably no real big deal. To the defensive coaches, especially for the ones at Northwest who have so much pride, and for these players, it actually is a big deal and something that they'll probably be discussing in the locker room at the half.
There's no question they're going to discuss it. That last drive of South, give them credit for getting the touchdown, but it was poorly defensed by Northwest all the way.
Grizzlies had some breakdowns both in the run. About South, and that
not at all
is a tribute to their coach and his staff, Russ Wells.
South is playing like it's 7-7.
So now Tyler Smalley has it teed up, and he will kick off. And this is going to be a low line drive that's going to be caught right at about the 2-yard line. So another chance for a South return, and this return man is going to break free across the 30 to the 35, but this one's all for naught. There was a flag thrown fairly early on. And this one's going to be brought back.
And we have an injured Grizzly out there on the return.
That was Avon and Buell on the return, but indeed it's confirmed this one is coming back. We will be at Riverfront Stadium next week, the home of the Wichita Wind Surge for the Grizzlies and West. 6:30 pregame show brought to you by Toppers Plus. We'll kick it off at 7, Northwest and West. Looking forward to that. Then we'll wrap up the regular season 2 weeks from tonight for a very intriguing matchup in Manhattan.
Looking forward to that trip. Love the stadium we're going to be in. The facilities are great, and the athletic department at Manhattan is top-notch, and looking very much forward to working with them.
1st and 10, shotgun snap to Ransom. He's going to take it himself. Basically a quarterback draw right up the middle. Good gain, too. He'll pick up about 6 yards and bring up 2nd down. And a good Manhattan team as well, Kevin.
They are an excellent team. They're going to be a tough opponent, and it's a great match to have before the playoffs because it will get us game ready for playoff competition, and that's what we're going to need.
With playoff implications, too, in terms of seeding.
We need to win the game so we can guarantee ourselves home field.
2nd and 4 for South from their own 23-yard line. This is going to be a handoff, running back dancing around, then makes his way to the 20, then hit and knock backwards. Forward progress will be the 26-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd down now.
Gibbons met him along with Peyton Dean. They jumped in there together to stop him right up the middle.
That was Avon Embule, the running back. He's also listed as a receiver, but South has a lot of interchangeable parts. A lot of these receivers also carry the ball some, and Embule did there.
Here's a chance for the defense to stop him and get a 3 and out.
3rd and a yard, and it's going to be a snap back to Ransom, and he breaks out of one tackle inside the 20. Then he's hit by Dean, falls forward to the 21, but short of the 1st down. Good job, Grizzlies, and now Northwest can get the football back with good field position.
Ransom lost 6 yards on the play and brings up 4th down and long, and the punting unit will come on again for the Titans.
Still 4.5 to go in the second quarter. And the Grizzlies have a very good opportunity to put at least 70 points on the board in a half.
They haven't done that since I've been around.
Just insane the kind of numbers we're seeing here tonight.
They haven't done 65 since I've been around either.
Wade Cameron punts it away. Pretty good kick. Lopez drifting back inside the 45. Now he's going to get to the edge at the 50. Now a burst of speed up the sideline. 45-40, twisting around and falling down at about the 37-yard line. The Grizzlies with great starting field position here. Northwest probably has time for at least 2 scores with 4 minutes left in the quarter with, what, 4 one-play drives tonight?
Yeah, with all the one-play drives, we could score 4 times here.
Could we possibly have 5? It's possible. Look for the deep post. That's what they like sometimes on these first plays of the drive. Nope, it's going to be a handoff, and this is going to be Thompson. And Thompson's
Here comes the flag.
Cut straight up field inside the 30 to 25, but this one is coming back. Flag was thrown right as Thompson turned the corner.
I'm sure that'll be a hold.
Well, that's
weird.
It's
interesting. It's a substitution foul defensively.
And what's strange, Kevin, is that flag was thrown well after the play started.
I know.
Illegal substitution, you usually see a flag right away. It's thrown right at the snap of the ball. But this one was thrown well after the play started, and that's why we thought it had to be a hold.
So they'll decline that and take the first down.
At the 24-yard line, Glasper's going to fake the handoff, keep it in. Nope, he is going to hand it off around the right side. Good job by Jace disguising the zone read, and he does hand it off. And around the right side, the Grizzlies run it inside the 20. That Grizzly first down brought to you by 4 Points Insurance and Financial Services. Give Chuck Yonts and his staff a call, 946-0721. It's time to get your Medicare plan year ready. Chuck Yonts can do it, 946-0721. Handoff, L.J. Phillips up the middle, then he takes a right turn and falls in behind left guard, and he falls forward to the 16-yard line. A gain of 3, it's 3rd and short.
And you know they're not going to go for a field goal here.
Glasper out of the
Should
shotgun.
they need to.
3rd down, they only need 2. Glasper will hand it off around the right side. And this is Bohannon Jr. with room inside the 10, down near the 5. Well, Aaron Bohannon Jr. returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown. That set the tone for this one. And already in the second quarter, he's getting some carries. And he sets up the Grizzlies 1st and goal.
He's got 2 runs on this drive.
Glasper's going to hand it off to him again. He's going to fall in behind right tackle, and he's going to bowl his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Grizzlies. Aaron Bohannon Jr. at only 5'6", 160, and just a freshman finds the end zone for the 2nd time tonight. And the Grizzlies have passed 70 in the first half. It's 71-6.
Unbelievable.
Tyler Smalley will come on to attempt the extra point.
And the crowd, we're in the press box on the home side. The crowd is just absolutely dead still.
Smalley's extra point good. We'll stay right here with 2:50 left in the first half. It's Northwest 72 and South 8. Just a crazy, crazy night tonight from Carpenter Stadium, and to think we were only, at least in terms of the clock, halfway through.
Not even halfway through.
Yeah, you're right.
Of course, we actually are, because it will be a running second half clock.
Halftime from Riverfront Stadium, Bishop Carroll 17, Capon 14.
Wow, I'm surprised it's that close, to be honest with you.
A lot of people are, but we'll see what happens in the second half.
Of course, it doesn't matter what the records are for those two teams. When they get together, they're both all-stars.
So
it's all different.
Tight one so far. Now the kickoff for Northwest is going to be high and short, and fair caught by South at the 20-yard line. 2:50 left in the second quarter. Northwest 72, South nothing. And now, Kevin, because of that pick six a few minutes ago by Dontrell Harris, 2 touchdowns ago, they're hard to keep up with. The Grizzlies have now scored on offense, on defense, and on special teams.
Yep, they've scored all the way across the board. So the only thing they haven't done tonight is kick a field goal.
And their special teams have scored twice when you factor in the blocked punt that turned, or excuse me, the blocked punt that turned into a safety.
Exactly.
Harlan Ransom out of the shotgun on 1st and 10 for South. He's going to take the low snap. He's going to run left toward the sideline, and he's out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. So we'll pick up 3, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 7. 72-8, Northwest with the lead. Andale 35, Collegiate nothing. There was a lot of attention about that game as well, but Andale getting it done again tonight, as they've been doing now for, it seems like, forever.
Well, they're going for their 49th in a row.
2nd down and 7. And a shotgun for Ransom. He's going to run it again. He's been handling most of the ball carrying as well for South, and this one's going to go to the right, but it's not going to go far as the Grizzlies
gain.
are there. Jacob King in on the stop, and now it's 3rd down. 3rd down and 7 it is. Line of scrimmage, the 23. South taking their time here, huddling up, looking over to the sideline for the play. Probably as much as anything to give their defense a rest. Shotgun formation here for Ransom. They'll send out 3, slots on the near side. Ransom's going to heave it down the middle. He's got a man there, and the pass is caught at the 45, and it's off to the races, and the ball carrier loses the football down near the 20-yard line, and there's a scramble for it, and they're going to say he was down by contact out at the 21.
Big play.
Grizzlies aren't going to like that call. They thought it was a fumble, and it looked like from up here it was, too.
I thought it was a fumble as well. He was not down yet when the ball popped out.
I think that's Ivan Teal, but again, it's so hard to tell the numbers on this East team, even with binoculars. The 9s and the 2s and the 8s and the 3s, they all look alike. And this South team has a lot of single-digit jerseys out on their offensive unit at the skill position. It is going to be down by contact, 1st and 10 South from the Grizzly 21. Ransom is going to run right. He's going to get dragged down from behind. And a good job that time by Brady Johnson. 2nd time we've called his name tonight, and it'll be 2nd and goal. 2nd and 10, excuse me. Clock is running. 33 seconds left, 2nd quarter. 72-8. Northwest with the lead. Ransom sends out 4 receivers this time. 3 of them are on the far side. As they go from our left to right, do the South Titans. Ransom has the shotgun snap. Hard sprint out roll to the left. He's being chased. He escapes 1 tackle. Now he runs back to the right and escapes another. Now he's got room on the near side. 15-10 to the 5. Oh, as he hit hard inside the 5-yard line. And down he goes. Jacob King delivered the pop right there. But a good job by Carlin Ransom, the running quarterback for South. Moves inside the 3-yard line to the 2.
And they should have had him down at the 40. But he broke 2 tackles, came up the near sideline, and just short of the goal line. This will be an interesting play, and I think Northwest just took this time out. Interesting play, Steve. You've got 1st and goal from the 2, and you have 2 seconds on the clock. So you're going to get 1 play.
What's also interesting is knowing that you've only got 1 play, South can still opt to run the football. It won't matter. They're not worried about the play after that.
No, that's right, because there won't be one.
So they might well keep running the football. That's the post has worked for them, but with a short field right here, I'm thinking they might just keep it in the hands of Ransom and see what he can do.
See what he can do with it? Yeah, see if he can scramble. Well, we'll see how the Grizzlies play it defensively here.
There was probably a little challenge to the Grizzly defense over in that timeout.
I'm sure. I'm sure Marinelli had a few choice words here.
So, final play of the half. 1st and goal from the 2. Ransom shotgun. He's going to throw a jump pass into the end zone, and it's batted away. One of the Grizzlies didn't bite for the jump pass. Ransom started in like he was going to run, then jumped past it into the end zone, and somebody threw the football down. Said, get that weak stuff out of here like you would on the basketball court.
Does that play look familiar? If you watched the Chiefs play a couple of days ago,
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes scored on that very play.
So the Grizzly defense holds to end the half. In terms of the scoreboard, all Northwest tonight. The score, Northwest 72 South 8. Now stay tuned for our halftime show brought to you by the United States Navy. You're listening to Grizzly Football, and it's presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Oh, jeez. States Navy, West Wichita location. You can find them and like them and follow them and get all kinds of great information about a Navy career, and their contact information you can find there as well. Well, Kevin, as we look at this 72-8 halftime score for the Northwest Grizzlies, it literally got started from the opening kickoff that Aaron Bohannon Jr., the young freshman sensation for Northwest, took to the house, exactly 80 yards for a score. And then moments later, when South got the football, the Grizzlies blocked a punt. That was good for a safety. And then shortly after that, Northwest had a one-play drive on their first play from offense, and you look up and we've just played a few seconds and it's 16-0.
Yeah, it was 16-0 very, very quickly. And at that point, you got the feeling the game was already decided, because South High was back on their heels at that point. They were back on their heels from the opening kickoff. When we scored on the opening play of the game, all of a sudden everybody rears back. Oh my gosh, here comes the monster that they call Northwest, and that's exactly what's happened here in the first half.
We've seen the Grizzlies with 4 one-play drives, and that's not including the kickoff return for a touchdown, which is not an offensive play, so you throw that one in.
Doesn't count the pick six either.
No, that's exactly right. So one of the fun things, if we were able to, and it would almost be fun to go back and watch the archived version of this on YouTube and calculate time of possession. And
that would be hard to do, but yes, it would be interesting, because I don't think the time of possession is going to be all that much different between the two teams.
It would be insane when you look at that and then see that Northwest is leading by 64 points.
And if you allow me to quote someone from my era, and that would be Howard Cosell, it's not how long you have it, it's what you do with it when you have it. And that's the big difference in the game tonight.
And I will quote the great Steve Strain, who 5 weeks ago at Bishop Carroll said, the route is on. But I think I can say it tonight.
I think you can definitely say it tonight without any problem.
And without saying anything, Don Meredith somewhere has just started singing because somebody turned out the lights here in the press box.
The lights really are turned off, and the party is over. So we're going to have to get them turned on, or I'm not going to be able to read you these stats I just worked up.
Opening game of the season, just for those of you that might not have been following us, Northwest was leading at Bishop Carroll 31-9 in the third quarter when I made the statement the route was on. And after that, Northwest got scored on 44-32, and 44-10.
I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back on that one, but as you recall, I said no, it wasn't, because we were at Bishop Carroll. It's amazing what that team can do in their own building. It really is.
You will concur with me tonight.
No question. Yeah. So.
All right, 72-8 is the score. Northwest with the lead. This is our halftime show brought to you by the United States Navy. Hey, a lot of things always exciting happening out at Mel Hambleton Ford. They are our presenting sponsor of Grizzly football. We are going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll go straight to that interview with Phil Nightingale, the general manager of Mel Hambleton Ford. So stay tuned as that comes up when we come back. Again, the score on our United States Navy halftime show, Northwest 72 and the South Titans 8. You're listening to Grizzly football, and it's presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. halftime show rolls on. The score at the half, the Northwest Grizzlies 72 and the South Titans 8. Steve Strain with Kevin Arkin on a Friday night of football in Wichita. A cool, crisp, the first time we've been able to say that, Kevin, but it is a crisp Friday night of football, isn't it?
It's a beautiful night for football. Perfect football weather, temperature right around 48, 50 degrees. I haven't checked it of late. The wind is blowing out of the north at only about 5 miles an hour, so there's not a wind chill factor of any kind. The wind is not affecting the game really in any manner, shape, or form, and it's autumn. Autumn is finally here. I've been waiting for autumn for 4 months.
It is exactly 50 degrees, which gives us a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, who sponsors our weather conditions. 50 degrees is the temperature. Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry wants you to know that they do implants and they treat patients of all ages. Bring your kids in. If you're a senior citizen or you know one, they'll take care of them too. Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry at the corner of Central Woodchuck. They're right across from Bishop Carroll High School. Sponsors your game time weather conditions on what is a beautiful football night here in Wichita. Again, we want to thank the United States Navy for sponsoring our halftime show, the Wichita West location in particular. You can find them on Facebook. Their contact information is there if you're interested in a great Navy career. One of the things they always harp on with us, if you're interested in just about any type of career field, you can get training for that in the Navy, along with some other nice things as well. So find them on Facebook at their Wichita West location. Kevin, a few important words and thank yous I know you want to pass out.
Oh, absolutely. I thought I'd start out by just reviewing a few of the interesting statistics from the Northwest side. Sincere Thompson has 102 yards from scrimmage. That doesn't count as kickoff return as well, which would add another 50 onto that. L.J. Phillips, 63 from scrimmage, and 20 yards for Bohannon on 3 carries from scrimmage so far. Only 89 passing yards so far tonight. We haven't needed to throw the ball, obviously, with the score as lopsided as it is. Here is the key stat. 7 penalties tonight, including 5 holding penalties.
Wow.
That's a lot of penalties in one half,
Yeah,
and a lot of penalties when you're up by a big score like we are. The holding flags in the first quarter were flying like crazy, and the penalties piled up in a real hurry. So we've got about 70 yards in penalty yardage here so far tonight, and I'm sure that Steve Martin is talking about that at halftime. Every game we're kind of co-broadcasting with the audio-visual department from Wichita Northwest High School, who's got the game up on the Northwest YouTube channel at YouTube/NWHS Grizz. And in that effort, their leader, Shane Monroe, enlists the help of a number of his students. Pardon me. And 4 of them are here tonight. I thought I'd give them a little bit of love here and thank them for what they've done, because they're doing a great job tonight. Jonathan Shue, who is a regular in this crew, is here. Pete Oliveras, Isaiah Sutton, and you guys are both rookies, right? This is your first time? Second for you, first for Isaiah. And then Ethan Dunwoody also here. He's a seasoned veteran in this crew, right? There you go. Hey, guys, we really appreciate all your effort here tonight in getting the game on YouTube for our viewers to watch.
And I don't know who's been working this 50-yard line camera, but they've been going back and forth like a tennis match practically with all of these scorings up and down. It's been pretty rapid. Hey, the Northwest YouTube channel, though, is really a neat feature, because not only do students get to run it and operate it and learn about some of the behind-the-scenes skills that it takes to put on a production, but those games, and it's not just football but other sports as well, are archived up there indefinitely. So you can go to the Northwest Grizzly YouTube channel right now and find literally hundreds of archived games going back quite a while, and other events that take place at the school as well.
I know there's soccer games back on there from 2014, when I started doing the soccer games at Northwest. Those games are still up there, and if you're so inclined to go back and watch one of them, you wouldn't have very far to go to look.
All right, we are not very far from the second half kickoff. We'll keep it right here as our United States Navy halftime show winds down. Kevin, real quickly, let's cover some of our keys to the second half, which are brought to you by Central Auto Repair and Electric.
For South, very simple. Play the second half like the score is 0-0 and forget what's on the scoreboard. Start with your basics. As far as Northwest is concerned, they only have one goal in the second half, and that is nobody gets hurt.
And I think for South, to further your point, play the second half closer like you did the second quarter, because they actually started to move the football in the second quarter. That's when they got their touchdown and started to show a little bit of a spark. So hopefully for South, as much as anything, just for their psyche, that will carry over into the third quarter.
It should carry over into the third quarter. And keep in mind also, the only reason they don't have a second touchdown is that the clock ran out to halftime.
That's right. They were at the 2-yard line and had a jump pass by their quarterback, Carlin Ransom, batted away nicely by one of the Grizzly defenders. We expect a running clock in the second half as well. So this should go by rather quickly unless there is an injury or between quarters the clock will stop. But most other times it will run constantly, and that's because of the margin, which right now is at 64 points, and you limit how many plays are run and the possibility of injuries decrease, and so we expect that'll be the case in a shorter second half. Grizzlies are going to go with a totally different kicker.
Yeah, but John Michael Fountain is kicking it off.
They've taken a page out of the Chiefs playbook and using somebody on defense to kick off. Hopefully Tyler Smalley is okay. Fountain's kickoff is going to be brought back to the 30-yard line, and that's Cameron Wade, who's the punter and receiver on special teams, returning it for South. So
I would be inclined to think that Tyler Smalley is on the sideline because his leg fell off.
Well, or maybe the Grizzlies are just preserving him from injury.
There you go.
On a serious note.
No, that's good to see him get somebody else in there.
1st and 10, and here's a toss and a fumble. Ball's on the turf and a scramble for it, and I think South fell on it. Well, they went with a lateral on the first play from scrimmage, and it almost ended up backfiring. But the Titans fell on it and lost 2 yards on the play. 2nd down and 12 from their own 28-yard line.
Nothing wrong with the pitch that time. It just got booted by the receiver.
Carlin Ransom will back up out of the shotgun, and he'll send out 3 receivers. Slots on the far side. South in their home blue and red from our right to left here in the second half to start it anyway. And this is going to be a running play right up the middle. And that'll be positive yardage out to about the 35-yard line. So a decent gain there. Gets the lost yardage back and then some, and bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, good cut that time to pick up an extra 5 yards on that play.
That was Avon Embule on the carry. And now 3rd down and 5 for South from their own 35-yard line. Opening moments, 3rd quarter, 72-8 Northwest with the lead. Carlin Ransom out of the shotgun with 3 receivers, slots on the right side. He's actually got 4. He's got 2 receivers on either side. And Embule is the running back, and he's going to get the handoff. He's going to dance around at the line of scrimmage and get dropped at the 37-yard line, and I think Brady Johnson was there again. What a nice night he's having, and it's 4th down.
And the punting unit will come on again for South, and the punting unit for them has not been pretty tonight.
Indeed, that was Brady Johnson that helped bring down Embule, and South will punt. The Grizzlies won't put anybody back. Somebody ran out onto the field, and the coaches told Lopez to come back off. I guess, Northwest might also be in injury preservation mode there. Here's a bad snap, and it's going to be picked up by Wade. He's going to get it away, and it's going to take a South bounce into Grizzly territory at the 42-yard line where it's dropped. 20-yard punt. Wade did a great job at that to get the 20.
And he's lucky not only that it wasn't blocked initially, but he fumbled the snap. The snap was low. He fumbled it, and one of the Grizzly players almost fell on it before he picked it up.
So 1st and 10 for Northwest, and you already see a lot of backup numbers out there for Northwest And I'm not even talking second unit players. The Grizzlies have a third string quarterback out there now, and it's going to be 1st down and 10 Northwest. And this is going to be a zone read, and the quarterback is going to get dropped. And let's see if we can see. That's Grant Myers, a freshman at quarterback, and he is at least 3rd on the depth chart for Northwest. You know, Michael Lopez is on the quarterback depth chart.
I think he's 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
This is Grant Myers, a freshman in there now. And, hey, he just executed the hard count, and he almost got South to bite on it.
Yeah, good job.
So he's a quick learner because the Grizzly quarterbacks are very proficient at that. And it's going to be 2nd down and 10. Myers is going to hand it off. This is going to be a running play by Bohannon. Started right, now back to the left, now forward. And he's into South territory at the 49-yard line. He'll pick up 9 yards. That's a nice job by Bohannon, making something out of nothing.
He almost got the 1st down on that carry, but he ran that ball with a couple of guys draped on him. Right up the gut.
3rd and a yard at the South 49-yard line. Myers out of the gun. Boy, this is going to seem like he's going to be around forever by the time he's a senior. He's going to hand it off Bohannon. Big hole up the middle, closed in a hurry. But Bohannon does get the 1st down. 4 points insurance, 1st down there for the Grizzlies. A gain of 4, just enough to move the chains. Boy, that hole was big, but it closed in a hurry. Didn't see who delivered the tackle there. But it is 1st and 10 for Northwest. Myers out of the gun. And he's going to lose the ball on the exchange. I think that was Moore. It was. No, that's Adarius Stevens, the running back, who's a sophomore, and there is a bad exchange right there.
And that'll cost them 7 yards. And they're lucky to get it back. You know, we talked about them taking care of the ball, and they've only got 3 turnovers this year. But that was almost one right there.
2nd and 17. This is going to be a handoff. Bohannon starting right now in behind right guard. Bohannon back into plus territory at the 49, but that's all. He's dropped right there, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long. Well, the Grizzlies staying exclusively on the ground so far, keeping that clock running. 6.5 to go. 3rd quarter, 72-8 Northwest with the lead and the football.
Be interesting to see if Myers puts it up here with a big lead. Nope.
He's going to run a zone read, fakes the handoff. Now he's going to turn the corner. He's got room inside the 40, and he's just a yard shy of the 1st down on a beautiful zone read. He almost got there, and it'll be 4th down and a yard. Boy, how about that freshman quarterback showing some mobility?
It's excellent run by young Myers.
They're going to go for it on 4th and a yard. Myers out of the shotgun. He's got Bohannon to his left, and the running back Stevens is to his right on 4th and 1. Shotgun snap is back. He's going to hand it off Bohannon up the middle. He's got the 1st down inside the 35 to the 34. That's a 4 points insurance 1st down, and the chains will move. Give 4 points insurance a call, 946-0721, 946-0721. Chuck Johnson and his staff can get your Medicare plan year set at 4 points insurance and financial services. 1st and 10 Grizzlies from the 34 of South. Clock is running, but now we've got a penalty as somebody jumped into the neutral zone for South.
Another hard count. This time they bid on it. Cost them 5.
That's 2 times now that this freshman quarterback, Grant Myers, has got South to jump. The first flag, they jumped earlier, they weren't flagged, but he's doing something right with this cadence. This is going to be a handoff here, and Darius Stevens is going to fall in behind left guard and fall forward for a 1st down. He needed 5, and it looks like he might have gotten just enough to move the chains. He did. There's another 4 points insurance 1st down.
Now the time of possession war is being won by the Grizzlies as if they've had the ball practically the whole quarter.
Handoff right side. This is going to be Bohannon. Breaks out of a tackle at the 20, then moves forward, makes a nifty sidestep to the 15, and inside of it to the 13. And Aaron Bohannon Jr. will pick up 9 on that carry.
And he got another 1st down. The sticks are moving.
Boy, they will give him the 4 points insurance 1st down. He's a different change of pace, Kevin, from either Thompson or Phillips. He's
Agreed.
Much smaller and much quicker. Here's a handoff now to Stevens. Nope, it's going to be a zone read. And it's going to be kept by the quarterback, Grant Myers, and he's going to get dropped behind the line of scrimmage back at the 12. And that's going to bring up second down now and 10 for the Grizzlies.
And they did give him a yard.
Second and 9. So Myers out of the gun. 4 receivers, 3 of them out to the far side. Clock is briskly moving. 3:33 left third quarter, 72-8. Now Stevens shifts over to the left side of the quarterback, who's got the shotgun snap. Handoff Stevens up the middle, inside the 10 to the 9. He'll pick up 4, and that will bring up third down. Well, we haven't had evidence that we have a running clock because the Grizzlies have been running the football this whole time anyway.
Well, it would have made no difference. You're right.
Now it's third down and 6, and Grizzlies taking a long look over at the sideline for the play. There's not yet been a passing play on this drive. Grant Myers has the shotgun snap. He's going to run the option. He's hit in the backfield by 2 or 3, and down he goes. Good pursuit that time by South as Myers is dropped, and that'll bring up fourth down.
Do they go or do they kick? That's the question.
Jamarcus Webster, a sophomore linebacker, in on the stop. So it's fourth down and 6. Grizzlies going to go. Myers out of the gun. Running backs to either side. 3 receivers. Slots on the left. He'll check over to Steve Martin for the call. Now Myers is back looking under center.
I like this call.
Running back in motion. And it's going to be another zone read. He's going to keep it inside the 5 to the 2 to the 1. He didn't get the end zone, but he picked up just enough for the first down. And for the second time, Grant Myers on the zone read, Kevin, runs around the left side for a nice gain and a first down. That's a 4 points insurance first down. First and goal from the 2.
And it was a great fake because everybody went to the right and Stevens had a wide open lane to the left.
So first and goal from the 2. Myers out of the gun with Stevens as the running back. An inside handoff, though, to Bohannon Jr. around the right side. He reaches for the pylon. Did he get there? He is just short, out of bounds, just outside the goal line. Inside the 1, but outside the goal line.
The referee, the linesperson rather, has their foot like on the 5-inch line. That's how close he got.
Clock is already at 1 minute left in the third quarter. 72-8 Northwest with a lead. And this is going to be a handoff up the middle. And Bohannon is going to cross the goal line. Touchdown Grizzlies. Aaron Bohannon Jr. with his 3rd touchdown of the night. One of them on special teams. That's his 2nd rushing the ball. And it's now 78-8 Grizzlies with the lead.
15-play drive that time, Steve. After all these 1- and 2-play drives we've had all night long.
What is the sum total of all of their other touchdown drives?
Probably 15. No question.
All of them on the ground as well. Now, let's see who's kicking this extra point. It is Smalley. He's back out there.
Yeah.
So that might have just been a case where they didn't want him to risk running down, making a tackle, getting blocked, and injured. Smalley's extra point is through. 6 seconds left and running. Third quarter. In fact, that's the end of the third quarter.
Yep.
So the score as we head to the fourth, Northwest 79, South 8. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. Northwest Grizzlies, backups and all, have picked up where they left off in the first half, although a much different change of pace on that 15-play scoring drive as they kept it all on the ground, and they elapsed almost the entire third quarter. And the Grizzlies lead now 79-8 as we start the fourth after that touchdown. And once again for Northwest, they will use a different man to handle the kickoffs. And it's going to be a low-line drive that South is going to have a chance to return, but a nice trip-up tackle on special teams by Lyric Evans, a freshman defensive back making a name for himself on special teams, and Evans got the tackle. So Steve Martin will be pleased to see his freshman make that tackle. He's got a freshman quarterback that engineered that touchdown drive.
Myers did a nice job on that drive.
Again, it was all on the ground, but he had a couple of really nice runs on the zone read.
I'll have to go back and look at that and see how many. I didn't add up his yardage. I will do that here in just a moment.
Jones. 1st and 10 for South. They're going to try running play in behind left guard. Running back gets tripped up and falls forward right to the line of scrimmage. So no gain, 2nd down and 10.
He had 5 runs on that last drive for 28 yards.
Very nice. So 2nd down and 10 for South. Clock is running, 10:55 to go, third quarter. 79-8 Northwest with the lead. Shotgun formation here for South. It's a low snap. It's going to be dug out, a handoff, and a running play that, again, is going to go nowhere. South has a new quarterback into the game, and that is R.J. Reed, who is a 5'9 junior backup quarterback for the Titans. So the night is over for Carlin Ransom, as he ran the ball well at times for South. Sometimes he was scrambling for dear life because of the pressure, though, the Grizzly defense put on him when he dropped
sometimes.
Yeah, every time he did. Approaching the 10-minute mark left in the game. 79-8, Northwest with the lead. 3rd and 8 for South. Reed, shotgun, back, throws left side, and it's a soft air ball, airmailing it over Wade, the intended receiver, and that landed around a triangle of Grizzlies and was nearly picked off.
I was just going to say that very thing. That ball very easily could have been picked off, and if the right one of them had picked it off, he'd have been in the end zone.
You might want to put a little zip on that. That one floated into a very dangerous territory for South. But
now they're going to punt it again.
And the clock is continuing to run now. But the Grizzlies lead it by 79-8, up 71 points. Low snap, Wade gets it out, gets the punt away. Northwest will not send anybody back to return this punt. And it's going to bounce laterally and roll laterally and continue to and get dropped at the 43-yard line. 27-yard punt, no return. Exactly 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And the Grizzlies in command, 79-8. And here comes their freshman quarterback, Grant Myers, for the 2nd possession in a row.
Steve, the starting field position for Northwest has just been unbelievable tonight. Their own 43, their own 42, the South High 47, their own 33, their own 47.
Myers zone read. Now it's going to be like a little run pass option, but he's going to lead his receiver, Bohannon Jr., too far incomplete. He ran a play action fake to one back, Stevens, then looked like he was going to run it for a little bit, then threw it the last minute, but too far out in front of his intended receiver. 2nd and 10. That's the first pass attempt for Grant Myers. Actually, this is the other
Gutierrez is in there at quarterback.
Diego Gutierrez is in at quarterback now. And he's going to run his own read. He's going to hand it off to Stevens. Stevens around the right side. He's got room. 30, 35, 40, 50 to the 40. That's Bohannon Jr., inside the 30, the 25, down to the 23-yard line. 34-yard pickup. And guess what? It doesn't matter even if it's the 3rd string in there. What do we have all the way back downfield?
Yeah, big yellow flag on the field. That'll be a hold. Of course, that might be the reason he got 40 yards on the play.
This will move the Grizzlies all the way back, well behind the chains now. Diego Gutierrez, who is listed as the second string quarterback, is out there for Northwest. So he's calling the shots now. Second and 20 for the Grizzlies from the 33 of Northwest. Gutierrez with Stevens in motion is going to run a play action fake and then throw it out to the near side, incomplete to Stevens. That was nearly a lateral.
I thought that was a lateral.
It was blown dead when it hit the turf, so I guess not. And that'll bring up third down, excuse me.
Just as well that it wasn't a lateral, we would have lost a bunch more yards.
3rd and 20. Clock at 6:48 to go, fourth quarter, 79-8. Grizzlies with the lead. Shotgun formation for Gutierrez here. 3 receivers, and he's going to run his own read, handed off to Bohannon, coming right, and he's stacked up. Good reaction by the South defense as they had that one read well.
They gang tackled Bohannon for a 3-yard loss. So it's going to be 4th down and a mile.
And again, give South credit for continuing to play hard. They have not mailed it in, Kevin.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now that looks like they're going to go into a punt formation.
First time we've seen that tonight.
Is that Gutierrez that's back there to punt?
It is. Michael Lopez is the normal punter, but he's not been in on special teams or as a receiver. South will not get anybody back, and the Grizzlies may have found a new punter. How about this by Gutierrez? Granted, there's nobody back to return this, but
he still got it down there.
This might be the punt of the year for the Grizzlies to the 21-yard line from 131 to the other 21. 48 yards. How about that?
And this is the biggest punt of the year for this team. Not that we've punted a lot, because we haven't, but
into a light breeze, although he kicked that one so low, really wouldn't have been effective.
Breeze, I don't think had any effect on the play one way or another, to be honest with you.
So South will have it now. 5.5, just under 5.5 left in the game. 79-8 Northwest with the lead. And South is going to run a running play up the gut to the 25-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 2 yards and bring up 2nd down and long. Shotgun formation here for Reed. He's got 3 receivers. He's going to hand it off, though, and this is going to be a running play out to the edge. And the Grizzly defense is going to read that across the 27 to the 28 before the ball carrier brought down by a host in blue and gold, including Caleb Allen, who is a senior, but that's the first time I believe we've called his number this season. He helped get the stop.
Xavier Hall, the ball carrier now for South High.
So it's 3rd down and 3 now for South. And off right side to the 28-yard line. That's about it. Not much doing. Grizzlies read the run well that time. Bishop Carroll 26, Capon 21, 7.5 left in the game from Riverfront Stadium.
Wow, those two teams are always close.
And surprisingly close, I think, based on the direction that those two programs look to turn this year. But as Kevin pointed out earlier,
doesn't
this is
matter.
One of those you can throw the records out the window.
That's right.
That would be a big upset, though. And
yeah, considering that Capon hasn't won that game in 28 years, yeah.
And the situation with the programs this year.
Yes.
Wade gets the punt away. It's going to be dropped at the 42-yard line. So that's going to be a 39-yard punt and no return. 29-yard yards, no return. Clock still running. Grizzlies might well be out there and make this the last possession of the game. Clock is going to be under 3 minutes left in the contest when they get this snap started. And it's back to the freshman quarterback. Now Grant Myers is back out there. He will run the first play from scrimmage for Northwest. One man in the backfield. That's Bohannon Jr. Now Myers.
Here comes the flag. Hard count got him.
So forward 5 to the 47-yard line. Now will just allow the Grizzlies to work more clock as well. Myers hands it off to Bohannon up the middle. Now he breaks free across the 50, inside it, and then breaks another tackle at the 46, then runs out of bounds at the 44 for a 4 points insurance first down.
Nice run by Bohannon. Broke 2 tackles, got enough for the first down.
Yeah, he ran into traffic right away, and you thought that he might be in trouble, but he escaped it and picks up the 4 points first down, 1st and 10. 2 minutes left in the game. Grizzlies up 79-8. Shotgun for Myers here. 3 receivers, slots on the right. Bohannon Jr. is the running back. As Myers has the shotgun snap, he'll hand it off to Bohannon coming right. Now takes a sharp 90-degree left turn and turns it upfield inside the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. He'll pick up 6 yards on that carry.
Steve Bohannon is looking mighty sharp tonight on his cut. That cut of 90 degrees sprung him for 6 more.
He's going to get a draw play handoff this time right up the middle, and he'll have another 4 points first down. He's inside the 35. Well, they're going to say forward progress is the 34. Now they're going to give it to him.
They're moving it.
It's weird. The official spotted him a yard short, but then started moving the chains anyway. I guess he got it by just enough.
Yeah, it was close.
1 minute left in the contest. The Grizzlies can pretty much just run a couple more plays, and we can take this to the house and call it a night.
And they're in no hurry to run a play here with a lot of time left on the play clock.
79-8 is the score. Northwest with the lead. And it's going to be
the genuflect offense.
The victory formation as Myers takes a knee.
And that'll probably be it.
There is. They're going to shake hands, and we'll call it a night. 2 minutes before 9 o'clock. How about that?
How about that?
Final score, Northwest 79, South 8. We'll take a timeout, come back with our Hog Wild post-game show right after this. You're listening to Grizzly Football presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. Welcome back to Carpenter Stadium as the Northwest Grizzlies roll tonight by a final score of 79-8 over the South Titans. With the win, the Grizzlies have won 5 straight now. They improved to 5-1, while South is the opposite. They are now 1-5 on the year. So the Grizzlies have that season opening loss to Bishop Carroll. They have not looked back since. Northwest started out right out of the gate, literally setting the tone as Aaron Bohannon Jr. took the opening kickoff 80 yards for a score. Northwest's defense, or their special teams technically, got a safety on a blocked punt after that, and then a one-play scoring drive on the ensuing kickoff. And before you could blink your eye, Northwest had a 16-0 lead, and it was all Grizzlies from there on out. 79-8 is the final. Welcome into our post-game show brought to you by Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild at the corner of 21st and Tyler sponsors your Grizzly post-game show. Stop by and see Bingo Brashears and our friends at Hog Wild, 21st and Tyler. Don't be late. They close at 8. It's 9 o'clock now, but they'll be open again tomorrow. You can stop by and have some great barbecue at Hog Wild. Well, Kevin, the Grizzlies accomplished what they wanted in the second half, which was to stay healthy. In fact, Steve Martin pulled not only his starters, but you didn't see even second-line players in there. We saw some brand-new faces tonight, some baby faces, some freshmen, including at quarterback, who handled things really well.
I thought Grant Myers did a great job at quarterback tonight. He engineered a 15-play scoring drive that ate up almost the entire third quarter and led to a score as well. So, yeah, a great experience builder for the young quarterback for Northwest.
79-8, Grizzlies get the win. It's time now for our gem of the game, brought to you by Christopher Daniels Watch and Jewelry Repair. He's at the corner of Central and Tyler, right next to Jimmy's Egg. Christopher Daniels Watch and Jewelry Repair sponsors our gem of the game, and you have to go right back to that play I mentioned moments ago, the very first play of the game. The opening kickoff is our gem of the game as Aaron Bohannon Jr. caught it and took it to the house.
13 seconds after the kick, Grizzlies led 7-0, and before the offense ever took the field, we were up 16-0.
He caught it right at the 20, just turned on the afterburners, right up the middle, too. That's what you like on a kick or punt return. They say sometimes the best way to get yardage is to go right up the middle, not run laterally. He learned that, apparently, because that's what he did and took it to the house. Aaron Bohannon presents our gem of the game, brought to you by Christopher Daniels Watch and Jewelry Repair. Now it's time for our player of the game, which is brought to you by Seneca Bowl, 1909 South Seneca. They're right up the road from us, and they've got Cosmic Bowling tonight. It starts at 10. Seneca Bowl sponsors our player of the game. And there are probably a lot of directions you could go with this, but very sincerely, I think it's a running back. No pun intended.
No pun intended. It's Sincere Thompson. You got to give it to him. He's got 150 yards from scrimmage, plus a 48-yard some odd kickoff return, over 200 yards of total offense from Sincere Thompson tonight. And, yes, he is our player of the game.
At Riverfront Stadium, it is Bishop Carroll over Capon right now, 26-21. That game winding down, still some time left. That's where we will be next week at Riverfront for the West Pioneers.
I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's a place we've never been before, and it'll be a different experience for all of us, not only our side but the YouTube side as well. As they're going to be using different equipment that's already in place, and it'll be a great learning experience for these kids next week.
It'll be a lot of fun. We'll see you then.
You bet.
All right, join us. Pregame show starts at 6:30. It's brought to you by Toppers Plus. If you can't be at Riverfront Stadium, or even if you can be there, bring your headphones. We'll keep you posted as you follow along and watch from Riverfront Stadium. The Grizzlies will take on the West High Pioneers. But if you're listening on radio, pregame 6:30, brought to you by Toppers Plus. Then at Northwest and West, we'll kick things off at 7 o'clock. Once again, our final score from Carpenter Stadium tonight, Northwest 79, the South Titans 8. Now from Carpenter Stadium, Steve Strain saying so long and good night.